Borderlands didn't exactly blow up the box office in its opening weekend. In fact, director Eli Roth's spacefaring, explosion-filled game adaptation was a massive dud. Here's why. The early numbers for Borderlands indicate that it's in the red with seemingly no way out. On a budget in the range of $115 million, it pulled down just $8.8 million at the domestic box office. It only made a dismal $7.7 million in the overseas market, making its total opening weekend take a measly $16.5 million. That makes it the biggest bomb of 2024 so far, even beating out Madam Web.
You have a winning personality. I guess I got yours by mistake.
The pre-release buzz for Borderlands definitely didn't help. It was basically toxic. As of the making of this video, it has a downright terrible 9% approval rating from critics on Rotten Tomatoes, making it one of the worst reviewed studio films of the year. It also earned a truly lousy D+ cinema score, which is almost unheard of for a blockbuster of its size. SlashFilm's Bill Bria noted the film's, quote, heavily generic storyline and offensively inoffensive tone in his 4 out of 10 review. Filmgoers have a lot of well-reviewed movie options to choose from right now. More on that shortly. So there was no reason for anyone but the most die-hard franchise fans to bother rushing out to a theater to see a movie that has such a stink on it. It's exceptionally rare to see the vast majority of both critics and audiences so united against a film. It's likely that even those who were interested in seeing the film feel pretty comfortable waiting until it arrives on streaming. Borderlands has a big budget and an A-list cast, but anyone who kept up with the production almost certainly saw signs that the project was troubled. Filming initially wrapped more than 3 years ago in June 2021. It is exceptionally rare for a blockbuster film to just sit collecting dust for that amount of time. In 2023, Tim Miller, director of the original Deadpool, was brought aboard to oversee extensive reshoots while Roth was busy making Thanksgiving. Also, screenwriter Craig Mazin, who earned lots of praise for his work on the HBO adaptation of The Last of Us, reportedly fought to get his name taken off of the film. That's a bad sign. That's not to say messy productions can't result in good movies. World War Z was famously troubled, yet became the biggest zombie movie ever. That said, more often than not, if there's smoke in these situations, there's going to be fire. It would have been a minor miracle if Lionsgate had been able to pull this one together with all that behind-the-scenes chaos.
How are we gonna get through this?
The summer box office picture this year has been pretty diverse, with animated films, action movies, and horror flicks all performing well. As we mentioned, moviegoers have a lot of options, and those options clearly pull them away from Borderlands. Sony's romantic drama, It Ends With Us, which also opened the weekend of August 9th, landed a surprisingly huge $50 million debut. Meanwhile, Marvel's $1 billion blockbuster Deadpool and Wolverine retained the #1 spot for the 3rd weekend in a row. It's clearly going for the same audience as Borderlands, which didn't help. Borderlands actually finished 4th for the weekend, also landing behind Twisters, which is held very strong in the US, pulling in another $15 million in its 4th weekend. Neon's new horror movie Cuckoo also debuted, with the likes of M. Night Shyamalan's Trap and Longlegs still hanging around the top 10 as well. Even under the best of circumstances, it was going to be tough for another blockbuster to find much room to breathe on such a crowded weekend. Movies don't just sell themselves. Deadpool and Wolverine may have been a hit no matter what, sure, but the vast marketing campaign stars Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman went on to support it is what turned the heat on the film up to nuclear. By comparison, the marketing for Borderlands was pretty modest. According to Variety, the studio spent about $30 million on marketing and distribution. For a movie with a $115 million budget, that's certainly on the low end. For what it's worth, Lionsgate recovered around 60% of the film's production costs by pre-selling overseas rights. In other words, distributors who purchase the rights in various territories are responsible for marketing the movie in those territories. Lionsgate didn't need to launch a global campaign. Even so, a $30 million spend will only get a poorly reviewed movie so far. Did Lionsgate know that it had a dud on its hands? Was it just trying to mitigate risk by not spending too much on a marketing campaign for a blockbuster that was doomed to fail anyhow? It does seem like the studio was perhaps looking to cut its losses. A few well-received projects over the past few years have helped boost the reputation of video game adaptations, which had long been regarded as subpar. There's the aforementioned The Last of Us and Prime Video's Fallout series, for example. And it's not just limited to TV. Five Nights at Freddy's and the Super Mario Bros. Movie were both big successes with film audiences in 2023, though a little less so with critics. Even so, video game adaptations are still exceedingly tough to crack, with the misses far outweighing the hits, and Borderlands is definitely one of those misses. The formula for success is somewhat elusive, but it often seems to involve having the creators of the game on board in a creative role. It also means having people who understand the source material at the top trying to translate it to the screen. Neil Druckmann, who wrote both Last of Us video games, collaborated with Mason for the TV adaptation, for example. Based on the credits, Borderlands didn't seem to have that. Roth apparently just got the backstory.
Luckily, I had the creators to take me through the game in years and years of Borderlands lore.
It seems this was yet another example of Hollywood's worst sensibilities coming to bear when it comes to video game movies.